Please join us in singing the gathering song, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, number 188 in the gray hymnal.
We will sing it one time through together, and then we'll have that side of the room start the round. This side will come in second. We'll do the round 3 times.
Good morning. Welcome to CVUUS. I am Ellen Flight of the worship team, and this morning I am the worship associate. Welcome to those of you visiting for the first time, those of you who attend regularly, those of you who are back because it's getting to be the end of summer. We welcome all of you. And in another couple weeks, we'll welcome those on Zoom as well. It does not look to me like there are any other children besides 2 of our presenters this morning. Oh, we do have, okay, so there will be then an activity on labyrinths and mazes with Jordan and Margie. And Ted, I'm about to say, and that will be downstairs because after the service, there may be a labyrinth or a maze down there for the rest of you to entice you to the lower level. We recognize that CVUUS gathers on the unceded land of the Western Abenaki people. We respect their spiritual relationship with the land and hope to learn from them how we can live together in balance with the earth. A bit of information before we begin the service. We have hearing assistance, which you can get at the back table. It involves some hearing things to put on, and then you can adjust the volume. You'll see that there's 3 ways that you can, color-coordinated ways to be in touch with us. And these are usually on a table in the foyer. So you can give us some information for the Caring Network, introduce yourself on a blue card, or share a milestone or passage to be read at the service or just to be kept with the worship team. This morning's service, I'm very excited about. Well, before I say that, I just say a lot of people have fingers in the pie that is a Sunday service. They're the people presenting. There's the worship associate. There's the original worship associate, and then the one who takes over later. There's music. There are printing of services. There are finding music for various parts of the service. So there's a lot of people that are involved in the service, and I want to thank all the people who took part this week and all the weeks, because that's what makes us a vibrant community and makes for a great services. So this morning's service is led by the Long Thomas family, Ben and Gina, Hugo and Claire. They spent the last school year traveling to 2 countries, and they will be sharing some of their experiences with us this morning as part of our special summer service series on passion, compassion, and community. This theme resonates with me as I spent 10 weeks traveling earlier in this calendar year. I literally traveled around the world, stopping and starting in Boston. Being away from here that long literally made me homesick for my community in Addison County. About week 7, I was very much missing everyone. What helped me feel a sense of community in so many different places was my visits with a dozen or so former counselors from the summer camp where I was the director for 24 summers. Each summer I hired international staff, and some returned for more than 1 season. More than 20 years ago, I met my first Kiwis and learned all about New Zealand. Well, I realize now it wasn't all about New Zealand, but a lot. Getting to know them set in my mind the goal of visiting New Zealand once I retired. I was able to see and stay with 3 former staff as part of my month-long visit to the North and South Islands. Even after waiting so long, reconnecting with those staff members and their families, which now included teenagers, I felt connected to their community over my multi-day visits with them. Visiting with their parents, sharing meals, being included in family activities, sitting under the stars, the Southern Cross, attending sporting matches, and visiting with their neighbors helped me feel included in the larger community of humankind. The small flame of connection within me was fanned into a larger flame as I saw others in different places around the world, which leads us to our chalice lighting this morning, where we'll be assisted by Claire and Hugo. And we're going to, in the order of service, the words for our chalice lighting are in English, and after we say that, Hugo is going to do the reading in Spanish. So go ahead, so put that up there.
Do I start?
Let him light. Hugo, you ready to light it? Once he lights it, then we'll go. Yeah.
Little flame, light the tender kindling of our souls, and soon a roaring blaze shall be of warmth and love and community. From this little spark may a fire of passion spread from heart to heart, and light our way, sweet Spirit, and light our way. Llama pequeña, enciende la tierna llama de nuestras almas, y pronto una llama rugiente será, de calidez, amor y comunidad, de esta pequeña chispa, que un fuego de pasión se extienda de corazón a corazón, e ilumine nuestro camino, dulce espíritu, e ilumine nuestro camino.
Lovell Drachman said, "Blessed are the curious, for they will have many adventures." Good morning. We are the Thomas Long family. This is Gina Thomas, just reintroducing Hugo and Claire, and I'm Ben Long. We are blessed and curious enough to have had the amazing fortune to spend 11 months in Costa Rica and Mexico this past year during Gina's sabbatical. We chose to spend the sabbatical year in another country because we wanted to expand our family's sense of community. We wanted Hugo and Claire to know that they are not just a part of CVUUS or Middlebury or Vermont or the United States, but they're a part of the whole world. And they can actively participate in and create community anywhere in the world, even with people who speak a different language and have a different culture.
So I'm going to ask my kids to come up here. We're going to do a brief activity with you before we give our main message. Can I have the next slide? Yes. So for those of you who weren't aware, Costa Rica is right there in Central America, the southern part of Central America, right north of Panama. And it's the land of pura vida. So those two words there are translated literally as pure life, but it's a phrase that is versatile and ubiquitous. It is not just a touristy slogan. Literally, all the Costa Ricans say this phrase all the time for many different reasons. It's used to say hello. It's used to say goodbye. It's used to say you're welcome. It's used to say thank you. It's used to say everything's going great or enjoy. So these words really sum up to us a lifestyle that was really about living the good life. And by that I mean the simple life, the easygoing life, the don't stress about it life. And it's full of gratitude, and it's full of just appreciating life's simple pleasures. And so it's really not, how do I put it? It's not like a stereotype or a slogan. It really was how Costa Ricans lived and authentically what they said. We heard it almost every day. So we thought to get you in the spirit of the message today, we'd help you practice the phrase. So first, I just want you to practice saying the words. It's pura, you don't have to worry about rolling the R, pura vida. Pura vida. So each one of us is going to say a phrase to you in English, and all you need to do is respond, pura vida. Trust us, for each and every phrase, the phrase pura vida is perfectly appropriate. So I'll start. Good morning. Pura vida. What a gorgeous view. Pura vida. Claire.
How are you? Goodbye.
Pura vida. The bus was an hour late, but we made it. Pura vida. Thank you. Pura vida. We have many adventures to tell. But first, let's sing. You may have noticed that Liam had us sing this hymn last week, so we would be well prepared for today.
Is it in Spanish first?
Sure. What is it?
Pura vida. So there's several things to share with you about Pathways for Connection. This is our final summer service will be next week, and Laura Sermily will be our worship presenter then. We will begin our fall season of services on September 7th with our in-gathering, and worship will be led by one of our co-interim ministers, Reverend Christina Solari, or Reverend Tricia Hart, although I'm placing bets on Christina since Tricia is still recovering from her knee surgery. And this will be the start of their third and final year with us as we conduct a search for a settled minister. And the important thing to think about right now and see on your order of service is the search team has begun their work in earnest. Their work requires a lot of input from us, and that requires us to be informed about all sorts of things as a congregation. And to that end, we have some save the dates for you to put in your calendar. I put them in this morning as I read the announcements. The first is that they will be conducting the service on September 21st. And then on the weekend of November 8th and 9th, which gives you all plenty of time to save the dates on your calendar, someone from the UUA will be here to lead a workshop on Saturday, and then with the search team to lead the service on Sunday. So it's really important to have as many of you as possible involved in those 3 events, and then there'll be other opportunities for you to have input. It has to be a collaborative process so that we can get the right person, the person that you want, that we all want to be our next settled minister. So please actively participate. If you'd like to see what the timeline for the search committee is, last week they put a big poster up downstairs, sort of above where the beverages are, of the timeline for events. And there's probably some other dates there, but there'll be other opportunities for you to participate. The offering this month will be shared with Acorn Food Hub. The primary focus on Acorn, the Acorn Network, has been to promote local food and agriculture. Acorn Food Hub hosts an online market as well as a local supply chain to support and aggregate, market, and distribute food products from producers and farms around Vermont's Champlain Valley. So please be as generous as you are able. And then when we finish, when the baskets come back up, we will sing hymn number 402 from You I Receive. So if you're new and you wonder why everybody's standing up, that's why. And then we look around and see our friends and neighbors and the people that we recognize and give a little nod or smile or whatever. So that's what we're doing. All right. We have one yellow card this morning from Marnie Wood. We had such joy as a congregation in the summer of 2009 with our first months of worship in this amazing sanctuary. The dedication of this building was September 2009. The beginnings for the Flower Co-op were present that summer. I would like to honor the founders of the Flowers, who were Pat Todd, Sue Grigg, Nancy Means Wright, Jeannie Van Order, and Vera Flight, Dinah Smith, and Marnie Wood. The efforts of these charter members have kept the inspiration through all these years of weekly beauty. So we give them a bravo, yes. Now, each week, as we live our lives, we encounter various milestones and passages, and also joys and concerns that enter our hearts. And while not everyone may feel they want to send a yellow card out to the congregation, many of us hold something in our hearts. And so we take time during our services to sit quietly, think about what our joys and concerns, milestones and passages are in community, because that makes a difference in how we process those. So we create space. This morning, after our time of silence, Jen and Hugo are going to give us a little special musical exit. And then we will have a chance to hear, once again, from the Thomas Long family. So, little moments of silence.
So each of us is going to get to take our turn sharing with you today, and I'm going to actually go last for the main portion of what I want to share with you, but I wanted to share a couple of quotes as a reading to introduce our message to you today. So I'm going to start with a quote by Mark Twain, and some of you may or may not be familiar with this already. He once said, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness." I've always found this quote inspiring, if a little optimistic, because I'm not sure that traveling always does this for people. So I think a quote by Maya Angelou is a good companion to it. She said, "Perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all peoples cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends." I'm going to turn it over to Ben.
Before we get into the stories, let me give you a little overview of our trip. In brief, we split the year in half between exploring Costa Rica and Mexico, moving every few weeks while homeschooling, and the second half settling for 5 months in Monteverde while the kids attended a local bilingual school. In keeping with our commitment to go lightly on the planet, we did not have a car for the entire trip. We traveled by public bus and sometimes taxis, Ubers, or even tuk-tuk. Our first major adventure was on the southern Caribbean coast. There, we all attended intensive Spanish language school for 5 days a week and enjoyed the beautiful beaches and sunshine. We momentarily regretted our decision not to have a vehicle as we walked 50 minutes each way to school in 90-degree high humidity. After the beaches, we moved to the much cooler mountains. Next slide, please. This is a photo of Volcán Arenal in the central Tilarán range, just east of the cloud forest of Monteverde, where we lived from January to May and where the kids attended their school. We found an amazing community in Monteverde. It was made up of local ticos and expats from Europe and North America. Even though some of our closest friends there were from Israel and Brooklyn and Seattle, we had a lot in common. We all shared the value of focusing on the simpler things in life: family, community, and our connection to the natural world. We valued living more slowly and with fewer things, literally less stuff. It was a chance for all of us to slow down and really build deep connections. Next slide, please. Just like these trees. On the left is a ficus tree who grew at the edge of a ravine that was 15 to 16 feet deep. And over time, it sent one root out and all those branching roots coming down. On the right is a different type of ficus tree with Hugo, that little splotch of red in the center for context. We got to see so many beautiful old trees like this because Costa Rica conserves almost 26% of its land in a network of public and private reserves. One of those reserves is the Cloud Forest School, or CEC, where Hugo and Claire learned and played for a semester. They will tell you more about that experience. Besides being a school, the CEC is a private 100-acre cloud forest reserve, complete with hiking trails and some pesky four-legged creatures that the kids will also explain. One of the benefits of slowing down was having ample time to appreciate the natural world around us. Next slide, please. Here is a photo of a waterfall at the famous Rio Celeste in Volcan Tenorio National Park. There is a legend about why the water is such a bright electric blue color. There's no filters on that picture. According to the Maleku, an indigenous tribe local to that area of Costa Rica, Toca, the god of creation, was painting the world into existence. After painting the sky, he dipped his paintbrush into the river Celeste to clean it off, and in so doing turned the water the brilliant turquoise that we still see today. Science also has its own legend to explain this, and if you want to come up after the service, I can do my best to give you that version as well. We didn't find beauty only in the natural world. We also found beauty in the people around us. The community in Monteverde revolved around one location where there was a women's artist co-op called CASEM. With a flat, open, grassy area, it was exactly what we in Vermont would call the village green. CASEM is the community hub, and we were there almost every day. It was a place for kids to play, for adults to chat, neighbors to share news, watch each other's kids as they played on the green and in the woods. It was a very small community that came together and shared their daily lives, unscheduled, unstructured, unburdened. And it's a place that we will always remember.
CASEM has an art co-op, a Whole Foods store, a coffee shop, and a bakery. I like to play there with my friends because there's a field out front where I like to play soccer, and a forest out back where we build forts and fight each other with sticks. Mary, please play the video playing at CASEM.
You have to play, and you have an imaginary pizza slice in front of you. So down here, this is my partner. Everybody is dipping the bread and grabbing things. If you put the left hand, and it is an
One time we built a fort above a thicket of trees with boards that we hauled up from the ground. Then a couple of older kids destroyed it and took all the planks. My friends were nice and we played soccer almost every day. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Also, there were these animals called bisotes. Bisotes look kind of like raccoons. There was one at school that we named Jack Sparrow because he had a scar on his face. If you weren't careful, they might steal your shoes or the lunch out of your backpack. Danielle, my classmate, had his lunch stolen like 5 times. And also there were monkeys everywhere. During school, my class went on an overnight field trip. We visited a national park. Next slide, please. And some different renewable energy power plants, such as geothermal power, hydroelectric power, and wind power. We stayed at a hotel. Next slide, please. Play the video.
Okay, what is it again?
Candelita muy rojita. Candelita muy rojita. Vaga su velita.
Esa es la fila para bañarse.
Me and my cabin mates were deciding who gets to use the bathroom using a Spanish rhyme. Thank you.
School life in Costa Rica was very different than life in Vermont. For example, the school was not one big building. It was many different classrooms in which you had to walk outside to get from one classroom to another. To get to school, me and Hugo had to walk 10 minutes to Kasem, where the bus would pick us up and take us to school. The school was very nature-based, so every Wednesday, me and my class would bring lunch with us and hike in the woods for 2 hours. Our school was called Centro Educación de Creativa, Cloud Force School, but most people just called it CEC or Creativa. Next slide, please. One time when me and my class went hiking, we saw some white-faced capuchin monkeys that were swinging from branch to branch. Next slide, please. And on our way back, we saw a beautiful bird called a motmot. It had an exquisite tail. The motmot was sitting in a grand tree with many large roots, a ficus tree. Next slide, please. Many critters live in ficus trees. This tree is over 100 feet tall. At first it was hard to adapt to the new order, but after a bit it was easy. It was fun to have a change for once. I had some great times in Monteverde. Next slide, please. Like when we went on a field trip to a safari exhibit and got to feed zebras and giraffes, or the time we went swimming at a waterfall. But I also had some bad times too. For instance, we had a beetle infestation, and I broke my arm once and had to travel for 3 hours to get to a clinic. The people in Monteverde were nice, and some people were even fluent in English. But like all scenes, it soon came to an end. Well, at least I have good stories to tell now that I'm home.
So my kids and Ben have talked a lot about the people we met in Costa Rica and the community that we made while living in Monteverde in particular. But the community I wanted to focus on, as I share with you today, is the community of my family. This isn't originally what I thought I would talk about. Months ago, when Liam first asked us if we'd like to contribute to this service, I had thought I would talk about my observations and experiences of living in a collectivistic culture and the insights I gained from interviewing local Costa Ricans for the project I was doing, the research project I was doing about solitude and well-being. And I certainly do have things to share about that, including the fact that Costa Ricans are consistently the most gentle, amiable, and hospitable society of people I have ever met. but that's for another time. Those insights turned out to not be as important to me as what I gained from being in community with my family for a year. Next slide, please. Many years ago, before we came to Vermont, actually, you can go back to that slide. I'll go to that one next. Thank you. This is in San Jose. Thank you. San Jose is the capital of Costa Rica. So many years ago, before we came to Vermont, Ben and I moved to Ohio, and we were looking for a UU to attend. I looked up the website of one in Yellow Springs, and in a description of their annual summer picnic, they listed various things to do at the event. And I will never forget one of the activities they included among the usual list of food, games, and fellowship. It was, quote, the chance to admire our children. At the time, Hugo was 3, and Claire was about 18 months old. For me, at least, those ages were not exactly creating loads of leisure time for me to sit around and admire them. But I have never forgotten that phrase because of how much it took me by surprise. To admire my children had literally never occurred to me. But our year in Costa Rica allowed me to do just that. For 11 months, I had the time and the space to step back and observe them, to be up close with them in new situations, to watch how they acted and reacted, to watch them learn and grow. We spent a lot of time together as a family, especially during the months when Ben homeschooled the kids, and we were moving every few weeks to live in another region of the country. Together, the 4 of us lived in over a dozen different areas throughout Costa Rica and Mexico, traveling by bus, on foot. Now you can go to that next slide, Mary. That's the 50-minute walk to Spanish language school in 90-degree heat at 8 in the morning. We went by taxi, by tuk-tuk, and even by boat. We swam, we surfed, we spotted sloths and toucans, butterflies and tarantulas. We woke up to the eerie sound of howler monkeys chanting in the forest. We shook scorpions out of our shoes together. We saw some spectacular views. Next slide, please. That is unedited, by the way. I snapped that during our first week in Monteverde. We also saw beautiful sunsets. Next slide, please. This is from the front deck of our home in Monteverde. We tried new foods together. We played board games on rainy days. We practiced our Spanish, and we went hiking. Lots of hiking, including at volcanoes. Next slide. That's one of the few active volcanoes left in Costa Rica. And waterfalls. Next slide, please. So I could go on about those activities, but you get the picture. We spent a lot of time together. And during those first 5 months, there was no school to go to, no neighbors' houses to run to, no play dates to arrange. There was no childcare, which also meant no date nights. It is rare in American culture, I think, for the parents of an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old to spend that much time together day in and day out. Last year in Vermont, before we went to Costa Rica, the 4 of us would scatter in different directions most days of the week. To school, to work, to music lessons, to soccer practice, to gymnastics, to play dates. There were often days when I saw my kids at 8 a.m., when I dropped them off at school, and didn't see them again until after 7 p.m. It's an understatement to say that I did not enjoy this schedule. I like a slow lifestyle, and I was missing my kids. Living in Costa Rica gave me 1 more year of their childhood, and with it, a cornucopia of shared experiences, memories, and inside jokes. And most of all, it gave me time to admire them. Next slide, please. I admired their ability to adapt to this new culture, to be on the go and constantly meet new people, all while living out of 1 suitcase and 1 backpack apiece, and all this time to rarely complain about missing home or their friends, which I knew they did. Instead, they were fully there. They were present. They were, in short, up for it. I watched them as they took risks, physically and socially. I admired their courage in going to a new school where most of the other children did not speak English. I admired their willingness to eat food they didn't recognize, to sit next to strangers on the bus, to be uncomfortable for long periods of time when it was hot and sticky, and they encountered a new tropical insect every 5 minutes. I admired their ability to learn Spanish and to speak it without a gringo accent, a feat which never failed to impress restaurant servers when my children would order food. I admire their confidence. I admire their curiosity. And I admire their willingness to make a home and a life on the other side of the world. So, Hugo and Claire, thank you both for that. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention how much I admire Ben, who was thoroughly in his element during this trip, especially the challenging parts. If nothing else, my husband loves a challenge. He took it on 100%. He loved the challenge of trapping scorpions in our house and escorting them outside unharmed. He loved the challenge of spotting elusive bird species like the resplendent quetzal and the three-wattled bellbird. I think he logged 180-some distinct bird species the year we were there. He loved the challenge of arranging our itinerary to maximize the weather, avoiding areas with heavy rains during the rainy season, and staying in the coolest part of the country during the hot, dry season. Thank you. He loved the challenge of protecting my time to write and to work on my research, even when we were all in very close quarters and I had no desk or privacy to speak of. And he loved the challenge of becoming proficient in Spanish, which is his fourth language, and he is by far the best of us now. We certainly depended on him when we were in remote areas of the country and there was not an English speaker in sight. Gracias, mi amor. So we are now a bilingual family, and it matters that our second language is Spanish because it ties us together more closely with our extended family. 2 of my siblings married into Latino families. My brother-in-law, Luis, is from El Salvador, and my sister-in-law, Argelia, is from Mexico. For both of them, Spanish is their native tongue, and Argelia has only recently become fluent in English. During our year in Costa Rica, we took a sojourn to Mexico and spent a month living with her and my brother and their daughter. Next slide, please. My niece was 2 years old at the time, and although she understood some English, she would only speak in Spanish. That changed when she met Hugo and Claire, her big older cousins with whom she quickly became enchanted. She probably gained a dozen English words a day simply by playing with them, and they in turn were motivated to practice their Spanish with her. We were in Mexico during Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and my sister-in-law guided us in creating an ofrenda to honor our ancestors. These ancestors include my mother, who died 18 years ago, and who never met her grandchildren. Experiencing a culture where death is talked about and the dead are remembered and honored is transformative. And it has created an opportunity for our family to continue to participate in this ritual. And we will create an ofrenda of our own this October. In doing so, we stay connected to our Mexican family, and our world is expanded and deepened. My brother and his wife and daughter are now living in the U.S. And this means that when my side of the family got together last month in Michigan, out of all 17 of us, 8 of us can now speak Spanish together. This delights my brother-in-law, Louis, and us moving back and forth between English and Spanish has helped my sister-in-law, Argelia, feel more at home now that she's living outside of Mexico for the first time in her life. It also helps the 4 of us keep the language alive, and in doing so, keep the year we spent in Costa Rica current instead of something that belongs to the past. There's a lot more that I could share about our year away, but I will close with one last thing. For my birthday every year, I always ask for the same thing. I want to explore a new place. In the past, this has meant Ben helps us discover a new hiking trail, or a new neighborhood, or a visit to a nearby town that we have not visited before. But this year, Ben arranged for us to visit the historical city of Cartago, which is Costa Rica's former capital, during the week of my birthday. He assured me that the Airbnb we rented for those 5 days would come with a desk, which I needed because I had some publication deadlines to meet inconveniently while we were there that week. But what he didn't tell me was that the desk came with a view. Next slide, please. Best birthday present ever. I spent many, many happy hours here, writing and thinking and reading and watching as the sky changed color from early morning to sunset. This photo, to me, really encapsulates the peace and the tranquility I felt in Costa Rica, when life became a little simpler and a lot slower. And despite the challenges of traveling, there were just fewer things to attend to, which allowed us to attend to ourselves and to connect with each other. And that is something I intend to hang on to. Thank you.
Our closing hymn is number 1064 in the teal hymnal. Stand as you are able and join us in singing. please join me in the extinguishing of our chalice. Go ahead. We extinguish this flame, remembering to always keep love at the center.